Welcome back to the For Real Movie Club. We're doing our fourth and final film, which is Jingle All The Way. It's a 1996 American Christmas family comedy film directed by Brian Levant and starring Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sinbad. It also has Phil Hartman, Rita Wilson, young Anakin Skywalker, Jake Lloyd, James Belushi, the one that everybody wishes died, and Robert Conrad.
Not even like that they wish that the other Belushi's alive. They wish that this guy died. Oh,
So,
man, what could Jim Belushi do?
Now that we're off and running, Mike, what was your initial thoughts on Jingle All The Way?
This is quite possibly my favorite Christmas movie of all time. If there's one Christmas movie that I've watched every season, it's this one. It actually has been a few since I'd last watched it, maybe like 3 or 4. And I've noticed more flaws in it this time than I have before, but I still thought it was absolutely hilarious. I started cracking up as soon as you just said the two main stars, Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sinbad. You put those two names next to each other in a poster, it's just like, I'm in. Let's go. Arnold Schwarzenegger, at this point, he was just full-on ridiculous. Like, he had become a full parody of himself. He had given up being the action star. I think this was the same year as Batman and Robin when he did Mr. Freeze, if I'm correct. Yes, no, maybe so. I don't know. And Sinbad. Just Sinbad. It's only too bad that we didn't get to see him in one of his trademark jumpsuits.
Laura, what was your initial thoughts on Jingle All The Way?
I mean, I've seen it quite a few times. It was better when I was younger. Because now I just sit and point out all the flaws, and I'm like, that's not possible. This is, but I mean, it's still funny. I think I found myself laughing more at the flaws than the actual context of the movie. But not bad.
Tony, your initial thoughts on Jingle All The Way?
I used to love Arnold Schwarzenegger movies. Even the horrible, really over-the-top, stupid bad ones. You know, the Commandos and the Running Mans and all that other kind of stuff. But this was one of the only ones that I've never seen. And people have been telling me for years that I gotta watch it. That it's the best fucking Christmas movie all the time and all that. Fuck you people! I do not like this movie. Oh man, they dragged some things out to an unbearable level, and the things that I didn't like about this were the things that kept on going. The things I do like are these little snippets here and there, and I'm like, shit, if they would have added more of those things, I probably would have loved it. And I don't even think I would have liked this as a kid necessarily, because, man, I'll break it down later.
Just to give you some facts about the movie, it was directed by Brian Levant, produced by Chris Columbus, Michael Barnhathan, Mike Smith, Mark Radcliffe, and written by Randy Cornfield and Chris Columbus, who did the rewrite and was uncredited for it. The movie stars Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sinbad, and all the ones that we had listed earlier, especially Phil Hartman, he's perfect for that role, in my opinion. And a little thing, a note that should be made, it was inspired by real-life Christmas toy sellouts for the products of Cabbage Patch Kids and the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Really?
Yeah, the film was written by Randy
I got the Tickle Me Elmo vibe.
Yeah, me too.
That's when I was alive for remembering. Oh my gosh, that was a crazy Christmas.
And another interesting note here is that due to a delay with 20th Century Fox doing the reboot of Planet of the Apes, it allowed Schwarzenegger to come on board for the film. Also, Columbus opted to cast Sinbad instead of Joe Pesci for the role as Myron.
Who?
Joe Pesci.
Joe Pesci?
Oh my god.
Man,
terrible.
If they remake this, I'm going to have to watch that.
So, I feel like that sparks up some stuff. Tony, we'll start with you. On casting, do you think everybody fits the roles? Do you think Pesci would have done better than Sinbad?
I don't know if he would have done better. He probably would have had his own spin on things that maybe would have been just as good, maybe better, maybe worse. Joe Pesci is awesome at being Joe Pesci, whether he was in, Goodfellas or Home Alone, which is to this day like the only movie I make sure that I sit down and watch for Christmas. I already did that. Already made sure I ordered my lovely cheese pizza when I did it. But Sinbad was pretty awesome in this movie. Phil Hartman, fantastic in this movie too. Phil Hartman being his full-on Phil Hartmanist. This is another situation too. Maybe the 90s bug kind of caught it. Whoever played the mother or the wife, depending on your perspective. She was just a generic actress that I've really never seen in anything else, and she did her role fine, but probably anybody would have played that part fine. Probably even the woman from the Santa Claus would have done the same job.
Wait, wasn't the same woman?
It might as well have been. At first, I thought it was Maria.
Cut her hair a little different.
But casting-wise, Schwarzenegger, the reason that this movie exists is because of Schwarzenegger. And obviously certain scenes would have been really odd if it would have been somebody else. The fact that there's an action scene in this, you had to have somebody like Schwarzenegger. Would have been really odd if like they would have had Sinbad and Joe Pesci playing the main character. I wouldn't have bought him as Turbo Man. So the issues that I have with this are script-wise, not acting. The people who were in this movie, they did exactly what they were supposed to do. So kudos to all of them.
Mike, what was your thoughts on casting?
I thought they were all fantastic, actually. Arnold Schwarzenegger, when he gets into his cheesy line mode, I love when he's just spouting out his one-liners. And he just goes in full. You know, doesn't have to worry about being a badass. He could just keep delivering funny lines. And Sinbad, when he starts doing any of his freakouts or any of his loud screaming lines, and I think that's one of Tony's least favorite things that any actor does, but very few of them, when they do it right, they do it fantastically. And Sinbad throughout this. And Arnold, too. My two favorite parts in this, actually, is quick little one-liners that really aren't like significant overall, but it's when Arnold Schwarzenegger's on the phone, Phil Hartman is in the kitchen trying to make moves on his wife, and he's like, the cookie's like, put that cookie down. It's fantastic. And the other part is during the great action scene, as Tony pointed out, when Sinbad is dressed up as Brainiac or whatever his name was, and he's chasing after the kid with the Turbo Man doll, and this pesky present box gets in the way during the parade, and he just goes and pushes it out of the way. He's like, out of the way, box! just the ways of it. Out of the way, box! And so the delivery was on, and I agree. The writing may not have been there, but everyone they made that movie with their performances.
Lauren, what was your thoughts on the casting for Jingle All The Way?
I like the casting. I feel like with any other cast, it wouldn't have been as, like, memorable or as, as good. And even, like, down to the kids. Because usually the kids are, like, very forgettable characters. But it was like they had the perfect... I don't know. To me, his face kind of looked a little white trash. So it was, like... perfect for that part. And then like the adversary kid was like, he was an unintentional douchebag.
Maybe your parents should get a divorce.
Yeah. And I was like, wow, what a dick. But it was like, he fit, like, physically looked like a kid who would just be a giant douchebag. So like that, the casting of the kids usually it's terrible, but this was, I think, pretty spot on. Believable.
The angry little fat kid that has to take his frustrations out on his friend. You ruined Star Wars in a few years, buddy.
So, one thing I think we have to speak about, and we've mentioned it a little bit here and there. I'll start with you, Paden, on this one. The sequel. Did it need to happen?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
The sequel. Did it need to happen? Does it take away from the movie since it happened?
From my impression, it looks like it has absolutely nothing at all to do with the first movie. Like I've watched the trailer a number of times. I've been forced to watch the trailer a number of times because they played it on Raw every week because it stars WWE superstar Santino Marella and Larry the Cable Guy. Horrendous choices. You're going from Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sinbad to those two. And again, I've analyzed this trailer, which was the point I was getting to. I've analyzed it top to bottom. I cannot find a single connection to the original. It doesn't even look like it takes place in Minneapolis, which is awesome. I love the Twin Cities. I visited there. Mall of America kicks ass. I've been there. The scene when they're in the diner, I've been to that diner. I went sightseeing around there, and that was something I had to see just because, like I said, it was one of my favorite movies. So getting to see a scene from it, and the statue of Mary Tyler Moore, just to throw that out there. Twin Cities is a nice place. Check that out. What was I saying?
I think we were basically saying fuck Larry the Cable Guy and
fuck Larry the Cable Guy. Fuck Jingle All The Way too. I'm gonna try my hardest not to have to see that for a little bit. Eventually, I'll let myself see it because I just want to see what a train wreck it is. Will it taint the original? No, as I said before for the other ones, it's just going to be forgotten about really quickly. People will remember the first one. They're not going to remember this one.
Lauren, what are your thoughts on the sequel?
Same thing. I mean, I refuse to see it, but I have a feeling that at some point it might creep up and I'll have to watch it, and then I'll, drink heavily and suffer through it.
Tony, what are your thoughts on the sequel?
If you were going to do a sequel, do the sequel we need to see, all right? It's Arnold Schwarzenegger, and he's dead, and Sinbad is the angel, and they're buddying around. Wait a minute, I'm going back to It's a Wonderful Death. Okay.
What do you know about that?
Imagine Arnold Schwarzenegger doing those fucking lines.
What do you know about that?
Your money is in Joe's house. It's in the Kennedy's house. I know, I was there.
It's time for the Charleston.
Arnold Schwarzenegger doing the Charleston thing. Fuck, I want to see this movie. No, they don't need to make a sequel to this. In general, they don't need to make a sequel to any movie that has no connection to the movie. American Psycho 2 was a stupid-ass idea, and this is going to be a stupid-ass idea, too. And if I don't even like this one, I'm certainly not going to like something with Larry the fucking Cable Guy in it, so... yeah. Fuck that.
Lauren, we'll start with you. What is your final thoughts and your high point, low point when and rating 1 to 10 when it comes to Jingle All the Way?
Final thoughts. I would, put it on my repeat. Every year, I'll watch it. I'll not watch. I won't watch it 100% focused, but I'll have it on in the background. High point. The low point is the drawn out action scene at the end. It's like it takes him 6 years to rise up out of that platform. And also, I think everyone in the audience recognized Arnold as Turbo Man, except his own wife and child. Everybody watching, because that was my thing. I would know that, I don't know if they're just supposed to be that dense.
Well, he's never around.
Plus, there's a lot of 7 foot tall Austrian men in that town.
The high point is probably Sinbad and his little zingers that he has in there. That's just make you laugh every time. Probably would give it a 5. Yeah, 5.
Paden, what are your final thoughts? High point, low point, and rank 1 to 10.
As I said, a go-to for me every single year. Great performances by everybody. Another one of my favorite parts I didn't mention is they had this running joke of Sinbad would pull out a box and say it's a bomb to get himself out of a situation. And one of the times that he did and he gets away, the police officer who had the worst luck throughout the entire movie goes up to open up the box and it actually is a bomb. And Sinbad, as he's running away, hears the explosion. Turns out, what? That actually was a bomb? Sick world we're living. So that actually was clever writing. So good on them. I could actually credit the writers for something funny there. Yeah, great movie. I would give it a 7.5.
Sweet. And lastly, Mr. Grinch, to wrap out our 4-Reel Movie Club, what were your high points, low points, final thoughts, and rank 1 to 10?
Low points are definitely the things they drag out. The jetpack scene's 8 minutes of him flying around, and I get the point that it's a little bit difficult, but holy fuck, do it in 2 minutes. Don't do it for half an hour. And that doesn't just apply to the action stuff to me. I mean, slapstick stuff isn't my thing. I do like when the midget goes flying. That's cool.
That was that giant guy the Big Show?
Yes.
Yeah,
it is the Big Show.
The little elf guy is the one who is the little elf helper guy in Bad Santa. So he carries that character on, I guess.
Huh.
But man, they drag out a lot of stuff, and they even drag out the over-the-top gag me with a spoon ending with the whole, why do I need the Turbo Man doll? I've got the real Turbo Man. I just finished the fucking sentence already, you stupid ass kid. I get it. You have your real dad, and he's coming home, and he's going to have his eyes bulge at the very end and zoom in, and the reindeer chase, he burps and stuff. It's not my kind of thing. I do love, though, and the things I got to give credit to for my favorites, Phil Hartman is fucking awesome in this movie. The whole put the cookie down thing and how he's just this creepy dude and putting his arm around the wife and these cookies are great. That is fantastic. If they would have had him and Sinbad alone, I could have just watched 2 hours of them, because Sinbad's introduction with that whole the woman who slept with everyone at the post office except for me. And I went to college for a semester, so I'm in the know, and all that. Those were the best parts of this movie. And man, for that reason alone, I got to give it at least a 4 out of 10 for those two guys. The rest of the movie, I could pass on. You could show me a highlight reel of just Phil Hartman and Sinbad, and I would be like, damn, I got to watch this movie. And then the rest would be a disappointment, I think. So awesome job, Phil Hartman. Damn, it's a shame that we don't have him around still. And awesome job for Sinbad, and damn that he's still around, but he sucks.
Is there anything else of like worthy value that Sinbad has actually done?
The one episode of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia with
Dave
Matthews.
Good.
Oh, good call. Good call. He was with Rob Thomas in the mental ward.
Where he's basically playing this character who's already gone postal.
Yeah.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that does it in for us when it comes to the For Real Movie Club and the month of December for Christmas movies. So let's go around the panel and see what everybody's up to during the holiday break, after the holiday break, whatever they want to talk about. Tony, we'll start with you.
I don't get a holiday break. I'm going to be editing a whole bunch of different videos and stuff for the Smart Out Moment channel on YouTube, our 2014 Smart Out Moment Awards. We're going to do any other podcasts that we do on Fanboys. We'll have them up as soon as possible. If you haven't checked it already out, go ahead and listen to our Fan Tracks episodes for a couple different Christmas-themed shows. South Park we did Simpsons, and what are the other two? Futurama and Super Mario Brothers Super Show. So an odd choice for that one, but hey, definitely go check back those old things, because if there's one thing that we know for sure, it's that nostalgia still works.
It's great if you remember that time that Captain Leo played Mario.
So check out Smart Out Moment if you're a fan of any of the wrestling kind of stuff, and if you are a fan of the wrestling stuff, check out Jingle All The Way too, and tell us if that's really as fucking terrible as it seems like it's going to be. Keep checking out
wrestling fans. None of us like Santino Marella.
I like Santino, but not in a movie. But any of that stuff, that'll be on Smart Out Moment. Fanboysanonymous.com, whatever we've got going on with that, go ahead and check that out. And in general, just follow the Facebook and Twitter accounts for A Mango Tree and Tony Mango, spelled out like the body parts, because I do like my puns.
Which body part is a mango?
You don't want to
know. Lauren, what do you got going on?
I work retail, so I'm working all before, during, and after the holidays.
Woo!
Yay! That's about it.
And lastly, Mr. Paden, what do you got going on?
Yeah, I work retail too. It blows. This weekend has been hell, but it's all almost over. Christmas is this week, and then on to the New Year. We should do some New Year's movies. That's too soon. I just completely spaced out. Yeah, okay, never mind. Just keep tuned to everything we got here. megapowersradio.com. Raw Post Show on Mondays, Dace Man Show on Wednesdays, For Real Movie Club occasionally. Addicted to Anime shall be returning soon now that Mr. Wago's got his computer back set up, and who knows what's going to be shooting towards you at any point. I pop up on all those other shows you hear on fanboysanonymous.com, smarkoutmoment.com, and those other websites. And if you really want to keep up to date with what's going down, follow me on the Twitters at MRPADEN. That's Mr. Paden.
Sweet. And that does us in for this month's For Real Movie Club. Thank you guys for listening. Hope you enjoyed it. Check us out next month where we talk about thrillers. And then there's so much more planned for the rest up until about June. We have For Real Movie Clubs planned. I'm excited for them. So thank you guys for tuning in. And make sure you keep on watching films. This has been the For Real Movie Club.
At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought.
I'm too old for this.
Good day, sir!
You stay classy, San Diego.
Roads? Where we're going, we don't need roads.
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
I'm finished.
That'll do, Pete. That'll do.
Hasta la vista, baby.
Hey, everybody, we're all gonna get late.
You're still here? It's over. Go home.